Now the tail of the tape for this first lightweight semifinal bout. Leininger comes in, 37 years of age, 8 years older than Mezger. You must be 200 or less to compete. It's Phoenix, Arizona against Dallas, Texas. So we're set for the formal introductions. Let's go up to the veteran Octagon announcer of the UFC, Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we are live from the Augusta Richmond County Civic Center Arena in Augusta, Georgia. SCG Sports presents the only event of its kind, the only event where the world's greatest fighters face each other in the ultimate testing ground, the Octagon. For those in attendance today and the millions watching around the world, it's time. Augusta, Georgia, are you ready? Are you ready for the Ultimate Fighting Championship? And now, let's begin with our first fight. Standing to my left, fighting out of Phoenix, Arizona, a veteran of UFC 3, a 4th degree black belt in Kodokan Judo, winner of this year's Southwestern Open Tournament, standing 6 feet and weighing 200 pounds. Please welcome Christophe Leininger. And standing to my right, a submission fighter from the Lion's Den. He's ranked number 2 in the world in the sport of pancrase. The world kickboxing heavyweight champion of 1995 with a record of 22-2 and 19 by knockout. He also has a record of 2-0 in the UFC. He stands 6 feet, 1 inch tall, weighing in at 198 pounds. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome in his 3rd trip to the Octagon from Dallas, Texas, Guy Mezger! And our referee for the evening is Big John McCarthy.
Big John McCarthy, 3rd man of the Octagon, tactical instructor at the Los Angeles Police Academy, working his 14th UFC. He's done 100+ no-rules fights. He has command and can stop the contest. So we open up with Christophe Leininger against Guy Mezger. And the irony, Leininger lost to Ken Shamrock in UFC 3. Mezger trains at Kenny's facility, the Lion's Den in California.
That could be a revenge factor for Leininger. But certainly I would have to give the grappling skill to Leininger. Coming from judo, and certainly the level that he accomplished in judo, he is going to be awful tough to take down. But Mezger is a very good athlete, training with some great athletes out at the Lion's Den. I'm sure he's very competent in there, and I'm sure he's the better striker.
And a right hand landed by Mezger. He grabs onto that gi.
And he's holding the gi so that Leininger cannot dodge some of those punches. That is the problem with wearing an article of clothing. But Leininger claims it's his 3rd hand in the Octagon.
And Leininger fighting back, countering, as Mezger continues to pursue him.
It'll be interesting here. This kind of grab the gi is very comfortable for Leininger because that's exactly what judo is. The problem is he's absorbing strikes. That's something he normally doesn't face in judo.
Well, Leininger's got a good hand right now on the Speedo trunks of Guy Mezger. We haven't seen this much before.
He doesn't want separation. He doesn't want to be in range for those bombs, those long-distance punches.
Mezger throws open palm strikes in pancrase, but here you can use the closed hand, and he's got to utilize that.
Break away.
A minute 15 in, still on their feet.
Tried a little sweep there, inside-out sweep to try to take Mezger off balance.
12-minute time limit with a 3-minute overtime if necessary. And that the canvas looks very slippery right now as they continue to slip around the Octagon a bit.
Seems when one of them's against the wall, they have something to push against, and they're able to drive their opponent towards the center.
And the crowd's getting a little restless here at the Augusta Richmond County Civic Center. That octagon is 750 square feet of space. It's 32 feet across. The padded walls are 5 foot 6 inches on top of the chain link fence.
And he goes to the guard. Leininger chooses to go down to the guard. I'm not sure this is a smart move against Mezger.
Especially considering he's been working on submission techniques.
And also because of his striking prowess. He's a kickboxer, so he knows how to use his knees and elbows. His knee is right up against the side of Leininger's head. That's a post. So if he can hit him in the side of his head, there's no place for his head to go. It absorbs the full punishment.
Leininger did a nice job defensively there, warding off a potential elbow by Mezger.
Sort of an outside guard, the way he's got just the one leg. He's not fully in the guard position. I'm sure Mezger's looking to try to get that leg out and possibly get to the mounted position.
Mezger tried to use the knee, but Leininger's got him pretty much tied up.
Well, what he's done is curled himself into a ball tight to the body.
Well, there's a good right hand
to hit.
And Mezger says, let's get back up on our feet. And we don't see that often. When someone's on the mat, we usually see him try to work some submission, but Guy wants it back on the feet.
Leininger could have stayed down there, chose to come up. He looks kind of tired, too.
Yeah, he does. He's breathing with his mouth a little bit open, and that's a telltale sign.
He also isn't really clearly looking at his opponent. He kind of was distracted, looked around him, almost had that spacey look in his eyes. Maybe he's just catching his wind, or maybe he's baiting Mezger.
Quick kick by Guy Mezger. Trying to throw a little bit of a headbutt.
Yeah, quick little headbutt in there.
Uppercut by Mezger. And Leininger counters with the right hand. Mezger with the knee.
That was a decent knee. That got in there.
Almost 4 minutes in. And Mezger continues to be the aggressor. Leininger preferring to counter.
Leininger likes to hang on to that.
Oh, good move by Leininger.
That's that inside-outside sweep. It's not going to help him really in terms of effectively improving the position.
Didn't follow it up, Jeff.
Couldn't really follow it up. When you land on the ground, you're sideways. When you turn to face, he has time to turn the face.
Looking for an arm bar, perhaps, Jeff?
I don't think so here. I think what Mezger's trying to do is, one, get that hand off of his trunk so that his hips have more mobility. Once he has his mobility, you'll see him start to throw punches. I think Leininger right here is happy to be in a defensive position and wait to see if Mezger makes a mistake. Mezger is in a position to carry the fight, I think, as in Leininger would prefer to see the fight slow down and get into a more of a grappling match than a striking scenario.
So Leininger continues to tug on Metzger's trunks, and another move by Leininger,
beautiful.
And a reversal by Mezger.
Great grappling. Leininger put Mezger to sleep and caught him, but Mezger was just too powerful. Came out of the guard position now on top. And it's Leininger who's in the guard, and Metzger's pushing him into the fence. We've seen this before. Trying to pin the upper body down, and then he'll create space and try to throw punches.
So Leininger in the guard. And he's got it fed up against that chain link fence. And Mezger chopping away at the midsection, which would make sense. Trying to loosen him up a little.
Without a doubt, affect his breathing, get him focused in some other area, and then come back to your strength.
Mild headbutt. Didn't really get all of that head.
Leininger looks very comfortable down here. However, I'm not sure this is the way he's going to win the fight.
He can only grab that fence for 3 seconds before John McCarthy issues the warning, and then if he gets caught, he'll have to go to a standing position.
This is where we've seen so many now of the classic fights in the UFC coming to this kind of a position. The guard and trying to pass the guard.
And the question is, who's more adept on the canvas? More than halfway through the 12-minute time limit. And it's pretty much been this way throughout, with Mezger trying to make something happen, and then ending up on the canvas. Leininger in the guard. Christophe Leininger from Phoenix, Arizona. Guy Mezger from Dallas, Texas. Training out in California. Currently the #2 ranked fighter in Pancrase. Pretty good amateur kickboxer, but we haven't seen much from his standing position tonight. Jeff, who needs to be the aggressor from this posture?
I would tend to feel on points right now. Mezger is ahead. He's controlled the grappling position. He got the better of the striking when they were up on the feet, and he's the one that's carried the fight. He's been moving forward the entire time. So in all three areas, striking, grappling, and aggressiveness, I have Mezger ahead. I believe Leininger right here has relied on his strength because judo involves so much of the guard position that he's comfortable here and feels as though his defense is good enough to slow Mezger down, keep him from wailing away, but I'm not sure he's going to be able to get any offense in down here to score points of his own.
And what was it that Leininger told us yesterday? Beware of the jiu-jitsu man.
Well, he likes to believe in that. Weaker can beat stronger, and it's from the feet to the transition controlled finish. And it's Mezger who's controlled the transition from the feet to the ground, coming up in the top position and controlling it.
Leininger trains with Kevin Jackson and Melvin Douglas. Mezger with Frank Shamrock and Billy Jackson, the world champion kickboxer, longtime mentor. And Big John McCarthy said, all right, fellas.
Go to your corner here.
Let's get up on the feet.
No improvement in position. It's sort of like a stalemate in the sport of wrestling.
You ready?
You can't improve position. They're going to move you back to the feet to create more action. This is a break for Leininger. But it also suits Mezger's needs because he is the better striker on the feet.
And he can also kick. Let's see if he employs some kicking moves. Over 8 minutes in. Yeah, this one has been very much a chess match. They've both been in the UFC before. Mezger twice as an alternate. Leininger, as we mentioned, the longest fight with Kenny Shamrock except for Royce Gracie. And he lost in UFC 3 at 449.
Well, you're looking at two experienced fighters who have entered the octagon before.
A kick by Mezger. Leininger said, nope, no problem.
Caught him, though.
He
definitely caught him.
Yes, sir.
I think he's actually saying great kick to him. He's admiring Mezger's work.
That gi becoming a bit cumbersome now for Leininger.
Probably holding a little bit of heat in as well.
Yep, he opened it up a bit.
Also wondering about Mezger's hand. He seemed to have looked at it there a little bit. I wonder if it's bothering him.
Not too warm in this arena. Outside today, about 80 here in Augusta. Beautiful day.
Whoa, that one almost looked like it caught him in the rib. He bent over after the kick. That might have struck him in a floater rib or caught him as he was breathing.
And again, the tight skin canvas pad gets slippery as the night goes on with the sweat that accumulates. Leininger's spinning around.
He's actually lost in there when he's getting struck. He's keeping his head down, and when your head's down, if you're yanked forward on your opponent, he's going to travel. Mezger able to pull on the collar of the gi, causing him to take those steps to catch his balance and putting him really in a defenseless position. Certainly Mezger's ahead on points at this juncture in the fight.
We'll go to a 3-minute OT, overtime, if we go to 12 minutes, and the fight has not been decided. And if we have to go to the judges' scorecard at the end of 12 minutes plus 3 minutes overtime, it'll be Kurt Shearer, Michael DePasquale Jr., and Jeff Santella who will render the decision.
Got a minute 30 to the end of regulation now. They're back in the clinch. Leininger hanging on to the trunks of Mezger. Mezger's head's down, and I'm sure he's going to hang on to a collar to maintain balance and also use it to keep his opponent close enough to try and strike. And now they're again in the mount.
And that's where Leininger wants to be.
Mezger's actually got Leininger's right arm trapped around his own neck.
So Leininger basically said, let me take you down and see what I can do with you there, because Jeffy just wasn't doing much on his feet.
I feel he was lost. I don't think he had any tools to compete with Mezger on his feet, so he's purposely gone back down to the ground to look for an opportunity in the guard.
Do you think Mezger failed to capitalize on his feet?
He could have been maybe a little bit busier throwing bombs, but why do something to prove to someone you're good? He's doing everything he needs to do to win this fight.
Right.
And why overextend? This is a tournament. He's got to come back later and fight again.
And it's like any sport where you get a bit conservative when you have the lead.
This is what I thought Leininger might do.
Now, Mezger can kick while he's down there. He's not wearing any of those ASIC shoes.
Mezger wants to be careful not to get kicked in the knee either, being that close to his opponent's heels late in the fight.
Overtime coming up in 10 seconds. It'll be 1 3-minute overtime period. And there's the horn.
Right there.
So now they get to regroup momentarily, and then a 3-minute overtime. The crowd a bit restless. As always, the UFC provides such excitement that the fans sometimes, get in a position where they get a little spoiled.
Guys, you got him, okay? You need to put him away. Set him up. 1 minute, 3-minute overtime.
Trainer Tim McClellan.
You got it. Throw it hard.
The scenario here is simple. Mezger should be ahead on points.
Come on, guys. Hey, you got this, man. Come on, get up. You got this, man.
Trey Telligan in the corner of
you need
Guy
to set him up
Mezger.
and put him out. Okay? You got him.
I want you to keep standing there.
All right? You fucking hurt him, guy. You're going to have to hurt him to put him out.
Telligan on the left in the red.
Jab, cross, jab.
Jab,
Frank
cross,
Shamrock
jab,
in the
guy.
black
He's a
shirt.
southpaw. Jab, cross, jab. You hurt him in the body.
So let's see. We'll go to
Jab, guy,
overtime. The winner of this one advances to the finals of this lightweight tournament. We've got 2 separate tournaments working tonight. The lightweight tournament, the heavyweight tournament, and then the main event, Vitor Belfort against Tank Abbott.
Get it ready. I want you back
What
in
you're
your
looking
corner.
at
Here we
are
go.
2 very evenly matched
Here we
fighters.
go.
Leininger
Are
coming
you
from the
ready?
grappling
Are
background.
you ready?
Mezger from
Let's
the
get it
striking.
on.
But the grappler is coming up short with weapons. Mezger leading on aggressiveness, striking, and even controlling the mat.
Mezger throwing out a jab, and Leininger answering.
Nice little right counter. Caught him flush.
Leininger does not look comfortable on his feet. Mezger this time approaching with the kick.
Seems if he followed that up with a left hook, because Leininger's right arm drops each time he kicks to try to catch, leaving the side of the head exposed right there again. He followed that with a left hook. There, he came in with a straight right instead, caught him.
Leininger grabbing the right arm momentarily and goes back to the trunks.
He wants to bind, he wants to hold, he wants to do everything he can
Some
to
chopping
slow
left
Mezger
hand.
down.
Leininger getting a little bit aggressive.
Looking good.
Another left. And a knee. On a counter by Guy Mezger.
He almost has a choke here too. A semi-front headlock. Could look for a guillotine.
Almost halfway through this 3-minute overtime.
Leininger was actually hanging on with both hands to Metzger's trunks, trying to control Mezger. Keep him where he knows his hips are so he can't get hit.
And they continue to slip around that octagon. Keep in mind that slipperiness later. It may be a factor. And this is basically a stalemate on their feet. Now they go to the ground.
Yeah, Leininger is going to bury his head. He does not want to absorb any more punishment here, but he is not going to be able to answer the call towards creating offense and scoring points of his own.
Back in the guard.
Mezger close to almost getting a pass of the guard and getting a true mount. But his right leg remains trapped.
Yep. And now he's able to throw some left hands. Less than a minute to go in overtime. And Mezger starting to get through with that left hand to the head of Leininger.
And when you're pinned up against the fence, it's difficult to move your head. Mezger taking advantage of placing Leininger against that fence, using the fence as a weapon.
30 seconds to go, and there's no question, although it may be somewhat close, it's still Mezger who's dominated the fight in terms of the action.
Well, he has been the aggressor. So the other 2 realms are grappling skill and striking, and he has dominated both of those as well by being in the mount.
And now he just doesn't want to make a mistake.
He's actually hanging on. He's fulfilling what he needs to do by staying a little bit busy.
And Mezger said this competition tonight was all about him. He wanted to achieve something for himself. Good knee by Mezger. And it doesn't matter how you win, it's just
move on.
You win.
Yep,
That's
that's right.
Baby.
Move on.
Time. Here we go.
And this one is over.
Good job. Go
And
in your
now
corner.
the judges will render the decision.
Good job.
It was hard fought. 2 evenly matched fighters. Both have experience in the octagon, and it showed here.
So it'll go to Jeff Santella, karate school owner in Florida, black belt in Kempo Kung Fu and Taekwondo. Kurt Shearer, the two-time national champion in both freestyle and Greco-Roman wrestling. And Michael
like
DePasquale Jr., the publisher and editor of Karate International magazine.
Fuck your tights, man.
And DePasquale Jiu-Jitsu in Riverdale, New Jersey. And you either go for one or the other. You cannot hedge your bets.
I'd be surprised, Bruce, if this was not unanimous.
So Bruce Buffer will take us through the particulars of the decision.
Gentlemen, we go to the judges' cards for a decision. Our judge, Jeff Santella, has it. Mezger. Judge Kurt Shearer has it. Mezger. And Judge Michael DePasquale has it for the winner, Guy Mezger.
Right there, baby. Looking
Well,
good.
that decision doesn't surprise me.